support can come from the most unexpected places. Let me give you an example. This is Hattie. Any of you are music fans, you may have come across Hattie and her sister Charlie. They're known as the Webb sisters. They have a reasonably successful double act and solo careers, but they're best known for their backing vocals. So Hattie and Charlie have been backing vocalists they were backing vocalists for Leonard Cohen for 8 years, for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers on the last tour, and I was lucky enough to see them perform with him in Hyde Park. They've worked with Sting and many others. In 2007, Hattie was on stage in a dance in Denmark, providing vocals, backing vocals for Leonard Cohen on his world tour. 20,000 people were in the arena, and Hattie fainted on stage. Luckily, she recovered very quickly. They helped her up and she carried on with the concert. But that episode triggered anxiety within her that lasted for a while, quite a while. And initially she saw that as a fear of fainting. So every time she went on stage, am I going to faint? Is it going to happen again? But she later identified as a fear of failure. The good thing that she did, the action that Hattie took that got her help and support and helped her manage that anxiety, was she spoke to people. She shared the challenge. And do you know who the person who was the biggest help to her? Leonard Cohen. It's so easy to put people like that on a pedestal and say, you know, A, he was her boss. So turning around and saying, I've got a fear I'm going to faint on stage again, must have been a really difficult thing to do. But also, is he going to understand? But Hattie told me Leonard Cohen was an incredibly intuitive man. Not only that, he knew what she was going through. She told me about a time when they were backstage in Austin, Texas, before a concert. And Hattie and Leonard were in a kitchenette, or where drinks were. I'm sure they don't have kitchenettes backstage at concerts these days. But they were backstage getting a drink just before going on stage. And Hattie looked over at Leonard, and his hand was shaking, visibly shaking. And he saw her looking, and he said, even after 45 years, and she didn't even need him to finish that sentence. She told me about a time when they were touring with Tom Petty, and Hattie and Charlie were in a golf buggy with Tom Petty going to the stage. He always travelled in a golf buggy to the stage with his sisters. And Tom Petty turned round, and he just said to the two girls, he said, I am so nervous. And for Hattie, knowing that Tom Petty was facing that fear made everything okay. That it was okay for her to face that fear. You know, by no way am I comparing myself to Leonard Cohen or Tom Petty, but when I talk to people who say they're frightened of speaking in public or of walking into a room full of strangers, first thing I tell them is, I am too. I tell them what I go through before I deliver a big talk. And that, I believe, makes a huge difference because they know this is what I do for a living. So just realising that whether it's at the level of Tom Petty and Leonard Cohen, or whether it's me, or whether it's your mentor, or whether you're mentoring someone else, letting people see your vulnerability is absolutely key. And it makes such a big difference to people. One of the things that Hattie said to me is it's strangely reassuring when anyone else talks of their vulnerabilities. If you feel like you're in it with someone else, it's less daunting.